Call the meeting to order. Have the opening prayer. Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in your holy name. Amen. Pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gentlemen, you have the minutes from the January 13th meeting. Are there any additions or deletions to those meetings? None?
I'll move it to be accepted.
Mr. Griffin, second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? You have code enforcement and zoning officer in the town of Champlain. Report. At this time, we generally go to the public. If the public has anything they would like to address the board at this time, rather than sit around all night, we'd be glad to hear from them. Joe?
I don't know, give my name, but Joe Valley, Mason Road. Maybe a phone call would have answered my question, but it slipped my mind today. With the flood that we had in '96 off the Route 9B bridge in Cooperville, there was a very large tree that fell in the river. And I'm wondering, I don't know if it's landowners' responsibility to take it away, remove it from the river, or the town, but what's going to happen with this last ice storm we had, and going up and down that river, there's plenty of limbs and trees that have fallen. When that ice breaks up, I'm afraid that it's going to catch on this tree down there, and there's going to be more damage to probably some of these houses in the lower end of Cooperville there. Now, I don't know if it's the Corps of Engineers or the town or who is responsible for taking that out of the river. I would have thought that when they worked on that little brook that came down and emptied into there, I think they put gravel and they redid that whole thing over, that they probably would have took that out. I don't know, maybe someone could give me an answer, but I'd hate to see something happen with all these trees and limbs that run in the river when the ice breaks up, having more damage down further. Also, there's, in the summertime, there's a lot of boats go up there and a lot of sea-doos, and we're talking nighttime and whatever, besides daytime. This is a problem. I'd like to see either the town address it or somebody.
Is that the one, Joe, that's in by the Cooperville Bridge?
Right near the Cooperville Bridge, you could throw a baseball and hit it.
Joe, yeah, we had talked about that and it got
We looked
dropped.
into that.
Did you?
Joe and I looked into that, and we have no authority to play with that. So town of Champlain is highway, not rivers and streams. And it goes on to the Corps of Engineers. If they don't want to do anything about it, nothing we can do about it.
I don't think the
So we
Corps
have
will
to
do
go to the
anything.
Corps of
right?
Engineer or the DEC. We could not do anything there unless they ordered us to do it to start with. We looked into this in last November.
Have they been approached though? I mean, to ask if they would do something?
They, as far as I know, at the time, somebody had approached them and they didn't do anything about it. That's why they contacted the town. And there's nothing that we can do about it. It's out of our jurisdiction.
My opinion, I hear where you're coming from, Jules, but the way I feel that is if the town can make a decision on Boat Marina being on that river or something that looks terrible, that might be a hazard with a marina, this is something that I think they should look into even further. I mean, it might be something you people can decide among yourself, or please get back in touch with them. You don't get something.
Whoever the landowner is right there, I don't remember exactly who it was there now.
I don't know.
Who owns that land? Do you know, Joe? Or-
I don't.
Is that
They own a building right near there. I can't remember the name of the people.
It's not the guy that owns that farm?
No, it's private.
Oh, no, it's on the other side of the bridge.
And there was no way that we could do anything about it anyway. We'd have to be on private property.
Can't we, as a town, also send a letter to the Corps of Engineers and DEC and notify them that this could be a potential hazard for boating and somebody could lose their life out there or something? So we put them on notice and taking some of the burden off the town.
Well, I called the Corps of Engineers this week and was talking to them about this brush that's supposedly going to be falling into the river come spring. They more or less told me that, you know, they're not gonna do anything.
Right.
They'll issue the
They're not
permit.
concerned.
They're not gonna do anything. No, they have no money. That's what they're telling me. The priorities are not on that river. Because number one, it's not a navigable waterway past the bridge. That's the train trestle bridge there.
Maybe it's on the other side of the river.
Yeah,
Towards the lake
but
more.
it's not navigable. I mean, what are they looking at? Big yachts or? I
You
mean,
can go all the way-
you can take
all the way
go all the way
Champlain
right
down.
up here to the Champlain Bridge.
Yeah, but when they're talking that, they're talking anything that's commercial, you know. Like such
It all
as
depends how you
barges,
look at
how the
it.
barges used to come up there.
It's navigable
Yeah.
water when you're in trouble. When you're not in trouble, it's not navigable water.
They have their excuses. I mean, I'm not
Well,
gonna defend them.
But
But at
wouldn't
the
it
same
be,
time, I'm just looking to
I think the
probably stop
landowner should
problem
be
with
pushing
that.
on them.
but wouldn't it be wise, and I'll ask this to Henry, for the town to have a letter sent putting them on notice of this?
Well, there's certainly no harm doing that.
That would take some of the liability, and I'm not, you know, because somebody gets hurt out there, they're gonna sue the town right off. And they say, well, the town didn't do anything about it. We have nothing, proof that we did anything about it. If we have something sent to them, that we did try to do something about it, at least we've taken, you know, some steps that way.
Well, I don't believe that the town really has any responsibility in
No.
the waterway.
I don't either, but I never know. I don't know. I don't know how the law would read if something's happened out there.
Well, let's check it out and, you gonna write a letter or you want me to call them first?
Me?
Yeah.
I'll have to write the letter if you want to go home, that's fine too.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody, Celine, here to address the board at this time?
I'll see what I can do about that too from my end. So, fair enough people corresponding here and there. We have 3 items tomorrow night to be discussed at our county legislative meeting. First of all, we have a local law to provide a real property tax exemption to persons with disabilities who have a limited income. This is something new that Governor Pataki signed, and the county is going to pass that law. It will affect the 1999 real property tax bill. We will also be discussing and approving a response to the draft legislation for the Park Authority. We've already had one meeting, and tomorrow night we'll be doing our final blessing on it, making some final decisions. We also have an appointment of our Veteran Services Director, and for the first time ever, always was a political appointment, we've asked the various branches of the armed forces represented here in the county to nominate somebody for directorship. And this is the first time they've nominated their own director. That would be Warren Maynard. Everyone seems quite happy with that. The payment of town and county taxes has been extended to February 16th without interest, so that's next Monday. So we have another week.
February 16th.
Yeah, they gave us another week. I spoke to Rodney Brown today on HUD, and he's submitting some guidelines tomorrow night to the legislature. They had to have a lot of memos going back and forth, as you know, with federal funds. And one of the things they're looking at is when are we actually going to have the money? They're hoping maybe by the end of this week, but we have to now decide how these funds will be administered. He did say that municipalities, HUD money can be used to recoup some of their losses only after they've gone through FEMA. So whatever FEMA doesn't pay municipalities, you can probably look for HUD. And we'll probably have funds by the end of the week, I mentioned that. HUD money can be used for farms, but no decision has been made yet how to give that out to farmers. We're still hoping that the $5,000 that Governor Pataki hopes to give to each farmer will get through the assembly this week, the latest. Farmers are still badly hurt. Many of them have lost animals and milk. So we're trying to get funds here and there for them.
But that's extra to the HUD program.
That's separate from HUD, yeah, that's just an aside for the farmers. An update on the buyout, an appraiser has been hired and has started working with the River Street people. And we were quite fortunate. They came up with a little bit more money and they were able to add a property on Church Street here in Champlain. It's tentative, but it looks pretty secure. We'll know tomorrow. One on the Fee Road in Moores, one on the Creek Road in Champlain, and one in Ellenburg. So we have 4 extra properties involved in the buyout, which is good. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the people in the northern tier, both from the towns of Champlain and Moores, who have served on all the boards and committees that we have at the county level, and that I've asked to serve in the last 2 years, and many have agreed to stay on for another 3 years. Aging and nursing home and JCEO and Stop DWI and Planning Board, and that there are just so many different boards, youth board, that people give their time to from our area, and I really want to publicly thank them. Any questions?
One, has the county passed the deviation for the Clinton County Area Development Corporation on the pilot agreement for Canadian Button?
No. We haven't been approached with that
Is
at
that
all.
going to be tabled, or weren't you approached? Was it tabled, or
We haven't been approached with that at all.
when you haven't?
The county legislature?
Foundations have nothing with that.
Yes, they do.
No, they
It's a
don't.
deviation for the IDA. It's the same thing that we passed.
The county has a board and they're the ones that make the decision,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Usually the Clinton County IDA doesn't come to us.
Right.
Well, that's the only, I understand
That
the
one
only
they were coming
holdup
to, yeah.
is the one coming from the county.
No. We will be discussing IDA authority on Park tomorrow night. It
Park is
appears-
requesting an IDA authority?
Yes, and it appears most of the legislators are for it, that Park of its own.
Will they be under the same rules and regulations as the local IDA and the county IDA?
They'll be under the control of the county. Not a county IDA, just county. We felt we retained better control if they had their own IDA, instead of having it under the big umbrella of the Clinton County IDA.
But are they under the same guidelines as
No, I think they can come up with their own.
their own?
Competition is good.
Yeah, as long as it's competitive.
Yeah.
I have a comment for you.
Yeah.
Having issued handicap parking permits for some time,
Mhm.
and having seen the state's guidelines of who is really capable of having a handicap permit and what the guidelines are, I am quite sure that doctors are very generous and liberal and issue handicap parking permits to people who do not meet the state guidelines.
Mhm.
And if you have that problem with your tax exempt handicap thing, a lot of people will be getting a tax exemption.
Yeah, they're very, very precise. You have to be,
So the handicap parking permit is very precise too. I'm not
Yeah,
questioning
yeah.
the rules, I'm not questioning that. I don't believe that the doctors follow that. I think they're very generous in giving out these things, and how generous will they be when I apply?
well, they
for-
have to be collecting SSI or be certified as legally blind. Then their income guidelines, and they give us the income guidelines. So it has to be, and I have the numbers here in the town of Champlain, how many people are collecting. We have 64 collecting a disability and 90 SSI. So, and then they have to be property owners. Yeah, they pretty much, I asked the same questions too. I thought, gosh, everybody's gonna be disabled, you know? But
No.
no, it's really spelled out. Yeah. So.
Thank you. Anybody else care to? Any other comments from the audience? Go to general meeting. The health insurance buyout. Hold on. Oh, yeah, well, we can get those now. We have an appointment for the IDA board, that's town outside member, and my appointment would be Chris Reno, with the approval of the board, ratified by the board. Make a motion that Chris Reno be member of the town of Champlain IDA. Second of the motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Janice Letourneau, there's been several occasions, since Janice is no longer a judicial judge, that she be appointed a marriage officer, which I understand is allowed in the state of New York, and she can perform marriages for the town during the daytime. I would like to appoint her as marriage officer with the approval of the board.
I'll second that.
Second the motion. Motion made by Mr. The hell's your name? Where's your sign? Bruce. Seconded by Red. All in favor? Okay. We got the advancement for the town meeting, which is scheduled for next week. Last year, we had an advancement of $400 for each person. With permission from the board, I'd like to have an advancement of $400 for each member. It's going to the town conference.
You gonna cut that?
Well, if you don't use it, you can return it. That's the way it's supposed to
So we
be.
return it.
Also,
So move for 400. Is there a second? Second the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed? There's one thing that's coming up, and I will prepare you a packet so that you fully understand, and that's the bonding for Miramar. Probably should have a work session on this sometime this month. What date is a good day? How about the last Tuesday of the month? Is that open for everybody? Open for Red? Bruce? Ralph?
yeah, we got a 98 meeting here at 5:30, so that wouldn't take long, so we could have it right after that.
Okay, Jewel?
Whatever.
So that's
Tonight,
24th, is it?
what time?
So if he's 5:30, make it, what's good for you guys, 6, 7 o'clock? 7 o'clock?
Maybe that'd be
7th?
24th? 24th?
Yeah, 24th, so.
On the buyout for the insurance, being that the insurance is most likely not going to start, the new plan will not start before March the 1st. There's a 2-month period that you're still on the old plan. So the buyout program will start with a 2-month delay on the buyout. In other words, there's 2 months of buyout time that you would not get because we had to pay the monies for the old policy. With the board's approval,
Also,
so make a motion by Mr. Cookman, second that motion, second by Mr. Trahan. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay, the first thing on it is a letter from the Clinton County legislators. And this is from Mr. Donald Garrett. And to summarize this letter, the National Park Service is initiating the Champlain Valley Heritage Corridor project in New York and Vermont. Senator James Jefford, who feels the Champlain Valley has a rich history, perhaps unparalleled in the Western Hemisphere, has asked the National Park Service assess the suitability of including these sites in a potential congressional Design American Heritage Corridor. And what Don is interested in, if we are interested in going along with this, to please notify him. So is the board interested in being named in this heritage suitability study?
I would think so.
Okay, is that a motion, Mr. Cookman, that we be interested in the study? Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Trahan. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carried. Number 2 on your agenda is from the Office of State Controller. During the recent ice storm which wreaked havoc across the North Country, Most local governments have been working at a frantic pace helping those in need of assistance. And we recognize that many government officials offices were closed, normal operations were impossible, and your entire focus was rightly placed on health and safety issues. And he's saying that I realize that there are continuing pressures and demands on your due to a continuing emergency concern. Therefore, when time permits, please phone or drop me a note to let us know your current operational status so we can discuss how we can be of most assistance to you and your community. What we are going to do is ask for an extension on the year-end audit. Jane has not had a chance to finalize that. Number 3 is on the highway abandonment. Jules, were you going to bring that up tonight?
No.
You haven't got those figures up yet?
You never got the actual figures on this thing? We were told, when this was done here last fall, that stuff had all been sent to your office. And then a couple weeks ago, we were able to find out it wasn't.
I haven't seen it.
I was afraid that was gonna happen that way because the people who were involved with this were not here now, so. I have to pick up the PC here and get it to you.
Well,
Right, Tony?
I'll have to work on it.
you got a copy of that, don't you, Sam?
I'll get
The
the
roads.
roads on it.
Yeah, I got the roads, yeah.
Is that one of these things the state,
Yeah.
Don't you
send
make,
that down to me and have it,
you have that?
what it's worth.
That's the one I had, we going like that for during the storm, I had that, that's the same,
Uh-huh.
so, footage on these roads.
Number 4 on your agenda, gentlemen, is from New York State DEC. It's 2 municipal officers, state and federal agencies, and utility operators. And it goes to say, in order to assist municipality officials, state and federal agencies, and utility operators in clearing brush or disposing of trees and brush, waste from the road, parks, sidewalks, culverts, and streams, and other impacted areas, which resulted in the severe ice storm of January the 7th through the 9th. The Region 5 Office of your Department of Environmental Conservation has developed an agency permit which can be issued to you upon request. So what they're saying more or less is they will issue us a permit to do all these cleanups. They also have a list, if you look on the back, of your New York State forest rangers. For Clinton County, it's Frederick Gary, he lives in Keysville, and also Tom Gliddy, he lives in Schuyler Falls, and John May, he lives in Cadyville, Alcona, Dannemora, Saranac area. And they have on the back a permit. Of course, they do have a paragraph in here that states that, please note that private individuals must obtain a separate permit to conduct these activities on their property. This permit will not be valid for them. Individual permits may be obtained from their local forest ranger. And what I'll do is I'll post a list of these rangers on the board out there, so that if anybody calls in, just we can know who they are.
But you don't think it'd be a good time to probably get a permit to remove that tree? The hazard?
Well, there you're on private property.
No, it's in
Private property.
the, it's in the river.
It's not town property.
No, but I mean, you
Oh,
can't,
I see what you're
you
saying,
can't get
Ray.
a permit to,
Well, the landowner should see about applying for it.
yeah, but he doesn't care if you get killed. Somebody has to care.
Well, let
That's
me
what
talk
Joe's here
to,
And you don't get a permit that easy to get this stuff done. Now they're willing to give you one.
Because it says here for culverts and streams.
Yeah, because you just can't get a
You
permit
call
on that
that a
river.
stream if you wanted to.
well, you have to realize that when you get a permit, you're responsible, you know. And if you're on private property, you should have the private person get a permit, because that puts a responsibility on him.
Well, this is not on private property, it's right into the river.
If you're on private property, don't do the work. We looked into this already.
Yeah.
If the guy on private property don't want you on there, you're not gonna get on there. We don't wanna get in the middle of one of these hassles. We have no business being there to start with.
You can't do it on the ice right now?
We're not putting any town equipment on ice.
Well, I know, not equipment, that's for sure.
Um,
And right now, it should have been done before, because now the whole thing is stuck on the ice.
Yeah,
Should have been done last fall.
Should have done when it was
Last
just in the
summer.
water.
When it happened.
Low water.
Now that thing's all stuck in the ice, how do you get it out of there? I know we're down there in December, they're looking at it.
Let me talk to FEMA and also let me talk to the Army Corps of Engineers, the DC.
I'll find out who the owner is and see if that bothers them at all.
Number 5 on your agenda, gentlemen, is Clinton County Treasurer's Office, Janet Dupree, and it's a sales tax shortfall. It goes to Sadie Arnold. In 1997, the county projected total sales tax revenue for the county and all municipalities at $24 million. However, actual receipts totaled $23,591,348. This shortfall resulted in deficit for the county, the city of Plattsburgh, and the towns and villages. The county revenue is short $230,685. The projected 1997 sales tax for your town, which included the 1996 shortfall, was $393,016. The 1997 shortfall is $5,768.10. We are disappointed that the third consecutive year we did not meet our projected revenue. We will continue to evaluate the sales tax receipts to determine if we need to reduce the projected revenue for 1999. If you should have any questions concerning this or any other matter, feel free to contact either Greg, Val, or me. Janet. Next piece of correspondence you have, gentlemen, is from Forest Rangers, and it deals with Donald Diesel's on the report from Ranger Insurance Company. That is a denial of his claim. That's for your information. Special disaster report on your next is number 7 on your agenda. Small Cities Community Development Block Grant. What they're doing is they're extending an extension to March the 2nd. Deadline applications for Small Cities Community Development Block Grant. HUD has agreed to extend it 30 days, but we don't have a block grant out there anyway, so it really doesn't do us any good or hurt us. Number 8 on your agenda is from the Clinton County Treasurer's Office to all town supervisors. Under New York State law, Governor Pataki is able to extend the interest-free period for payment of real property tax for a period of 7 days. On behalf of the 14 towns in Clinton County, Legislative Chairperson Donald Guerin has requested this extension from the governor. In addition, Senator Ronald B. Stafford and Assembly Chris Offlaw have introduced legislation in the state legislature to further extend the interest-free period for 30 days, and you just said that they did?
For 1 more week.
For 1 more week. But they're going for the 30-day extension, and nobody's heard on that yet, huh? So they're trying, but nothing is up yet. Number 9 on your agenda, gentlemen, is the resolution from the county for the Fort Montgomery Estates. That's for your information. The letter is Resolution 1019, adopted by the county legislators on Tuesday, December the 23rd. Number 10 on your agenda, Jim, Rodney Brown letter. Town of Champlain HUD application for 1998 ice storm. Goes to say, dear Mr. Brown, the town of Champlain is requesting $117,850 in order to address the expenses which occurred as a result of the 1998 ice storm. The population of the town outside the village is 2,543. Established residents are 850. New York State Electric and Gas Company confirms that 100% of the residents of the town outside the village lost power as a result of the Wednesday, January the 7th, 1998 ice storm. And it goes to say what the requests are. And that is a total of $117,850. Just send me the check. The next piece of letter you have is from the town of Champlain. It's addressed to me, and it is, what I had is the Burger King requested a test be done on the water, seeing the capabilities of having a sprinkler system installed in that building. And I had Ralph look it up, and this is his response to it. Your next, number 12, is the North Country Gas Pipeline, and these are the emergency number notifications. That's for your help, gentlemen. It has all your emergency numbers. In Plattsburgh, also an 800 number for gas line failure. From the Village of Rouse's Point, number 13 on your agenda, it is requested that 2 voting machines be reserved for use of the Village of Rouse's Point during the forthcoming village elections scheduled for Tuesday, March the 17th, 1998. The crew will pick up the machines at a mutual agreed upon time of the week prior to election. Thank you for your assistance, and that's from Beverly Bayshore. Did they call, Samuel?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't call, I just got a letter from you.
Oh,
Champlain?
No.
Champlain in Senate?
No. I think you just go ballots or something.
You know what Champlain get the machines do?
No.
You know?
okay. They go
Yeah,
ballot. Ballot. Number 14 on your agenda, gentlemen, is from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and this is a notice of dam safety and flood control projects under the Clean Water Bond Act. The Bond Act authorizes a total of $15 million, and this is for assistance payments for dam safety projects, and a total of $50 million in state assistance payments to municipalities, both flood control projects and wastewater treatment improvement projects in villages, towns, and cities with a population of 75,000 or less. Application materials for wastewater treatment improvement projects were made available in August of this year. We did make an application for that, and we're pretty far down on the list. At the town meeting, did you gentlemen, I think you only got one copy. You had the one at Association of Towns for important delegate information? That's the one you had? I think you got the wrong one. You should have the Association of the Town. This is Dear Town Clerk, previously at the first 1998 Town Board meeting, and it goes to say the training and annual meeting of the association will be held at the New York Hilton, Friday, February the 15th to the 18th. This is a training session for town officials. The following is a brief outline of those events. The informational hearing is from 3 to 5 on Sunday afternoon, February the 15th. The general open session for all town officers is 8:45 Monday morning, February the 16th. The group session for various categories of the town officers on special programs follow the opening session and will be set forth in the printed program. And you'll get a program when you get there that'll tell you where all these meetings are. Breakfast with the association is at 8 a.m. Tuesday morning, February the 17th.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss the breakfast, gentlemen. You never had anything like it. And the annual business session that's the officers delegate, it's at 9 a.m. Wednesday morning, February the 18th, and that's in the Beekman and Sutton parlors. So I'll make sure each one of you gets a copy of these resolutions so that you can review them and give me your recommendations on them, because that's what they'll be asking us to vote on at the 18th meeting. Number 16th on your agenda is supervisor's tax date for 1998, and that, gentleman, is for your information. Number 17 on your agenda is the town clerk's list of monies paid to the town officials during the year. You going to report on that, Ralph?
Yeah, I handed it out. You'll have to, you all got a copy of it. Just for your information.
For the total,
Oh, this is something else. This is what the county paid me.
yeah. Well, you have dog licenses, 404.
That's not what I reported. That's what the county gave back.
That's what the county gave you back. I mean, all the cash you had, it's just like you own a store. You don't make clear profit on everything.
That don't come back to me, that goes back to you. My own report is out there somewhere.
Okay. Number 18, Sam, that's EAS, Employees Assistance Service, and this is your DOT training for your information. You got your DOT training program? Number 19 on your list is a newsletter, and what this is purchase of trees. I guess this is in increments of 25, 50, 100, 500, 1,000. So that may be something we might want to look at.
After this, we don't want trees.
Well,
We're gonna cut everything right down, even with the ground.
I was just thinking, maybe if we have a program where, you know, people can come here and pick up the trees for replanting. You know, not knowing how much damage is out there, but I think there's an order time on it. It has to be in by March the 19th, your order. So you guys, you want to get into it, or you want to forget about it? You think it's something you want to look at?
Would it be advisable to get a small order, see how this thing goes?
We got an order of them last year. And what we ordered, I think we had a survival rate of about 10%. We planted those up at the landfill. Of course, there was no water. Not the landfill, the sand pit.
Let's face it, there's always a time up there.
Yeah. I mean, it was, and you hit the driest time of the
The
year.
tree there in a sand pile, I mean, the thing's gonna grow.
Yeah. To give you a general idea of cost for bare root treed seedlings, 25 is $15, 50 for $25, 100 for $45, 500 or $175, and 1,000 or $315. Ground cover, which prices for ground cover are $25, $10, 50 of them are $18, 100 or $34, 500 or $150. These are super tube tree shelters. They're 2 feet tall. Price 1 to 19, $1.50 each. 20 to 100, $1.40 each. And 100 and upper, $1.30 a piece. Then they got, they even have flyer seeds here too. But something you think about, you got till March to place the order. Number 20 on your agenda is from Henry Van Acker, and that is figures from the election board for the elimination of one justice position, and that shows you the vote on it. $586 to 451 to 643. What was it? Blank. Blank was 643. No vote was a 450. Looks like 51 here. And yes was 586. Number 21 on your agenda, gentlemen, is from the DBS Planning Consultants. What they're looking for is to access funding for municipalities and the HUD, imminent threat criteria. The applications are not competitive, but they need to be concise and clearly explained. So what they're looking for is work. We'll put that on file. Number 22 is from the Plattsburgh North Country Chamber of Commerce, and it's a thank you for the ice storm as we continue to make steady progress on all our fronts in the collective response to the ice storm disaster. I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the Plattsburgh North Country Chamber of Commerce and the entire North Country business community saying thank you, which is from Gary Douglas. Number 23 and 24, gentlemen, you have a letter. One letter is from Sam Blaine, Mr. and Mrs. Sam Blaine, thanking Samuel. And the other letter is from a taxpayer. And of course, we've got some more information on the environmental restoration projects. That's for the guidelines on the environmental restoration projects in the brownfield. There again, we don't qualify for that brownfield. Number 26 is a ice storm newsletter. Thank you, your package, for your wonderful volunteer workers. And I don't think we can say enough about the volunteer workers around our area on what they did for us, and they'll always be remembered as far as I'm concerned. Number 27 on your list, gentlemen, is a real property systems report, and that goes to show you, just to give you an idea of sales, what the property was assessed at, what it sold for. And that gives you a general idea of what kind of job Pat is doing. That's for your information. Number 28 on your agenda is Infranet. They're looking for a list of all our elected officials, and we are going to fill this out and send it in for you so that you'll be in the Infranet publication. Kind of like who's in your village government. Your second agenda, this is the material that came in just today. And you have for your Office of State Comptroller, you have your municipality information on the judicial. And that there again is for your information. You can see what kind of return you're getting and how the workload is out there. That explains it to you. Number 2 on that agenda is a news release from the U.S. Department of Housing Development. That's telling you that the Housing and Urban Development Secretary, Andrew Cuomo, announced a $512 million in assistance for 6 counties in upstate New York. Well, there's an awful lot of money that's been allocated. If you get 1/10 of it, I guess you'd be doing all right. The next item on that agenda, gentlemen, is your health insurance, and it is a recommendation of the Health Insurance Committee that the health insurance Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield HMO be effective for March 1998. The account will be under the direction of Serafina Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield until such time as Bill Herzog, appointed as agent, is finalized. At that time, the account will be transferred to Bill Herzog at Pawcats Insurance at no cost to the town. This is the committee's recommendation. Bill can't do it yet.
That's their opinion, don't until Bill gets his appointment.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, you have a request for a resolution that is recommendation of the health insurance carrier that the health insurance Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield HMO that the account be directed under Serafina Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield until such time as Bill Herzog is appointed as agent is finalized. Do I have a motion for that resolution?
Also,
So moved by Mr. Cookman,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Trahan. Is there a roll call vote? Mr. Trahan?
Aye.
And Mr. Cookman?
aye.
Mr. Demers?
Aye.
And Willett, is it? Supervisor votes aye. The next thing you have on the agenda is the Clinton County Treasurer's Office. This is to Mr. Arnold. Dear Arnold, upon request, Ken John, Town of Peru Supervisor, and I have extended the 1998 tax warrant from March the 31st, 1998 to April the 30th, 1998. If you should have any questions regarding the extension, please feel free to contact me at any time. You got the duplicate, you know? The next item you have on there is from EAS, Employees Assistance Program. And this is more or less, I guess, up your alley, Sam. How to help your employees follow an accident like the one you're going through. Everyone has some type of emotional response. To ensure that each person will recover at his or her own rate. Did you get a copy of that?
No.
I'll keep you in mind. Put that up on the board in the back. These are management guidelines for that. Next item you have on the agenda is from the Clinton County Planning Department. The Clinton County Planning Department is pleased to announce a series of tree planting and zoning seminars to be held in the months of February and March. These workshops will be conducted by the Department of State Lori Hall, Land Use Training Manager, and Harry Willis, Local Government Counsel. The workshop will be free of charge. Anyone interested may attend. The workshop will be most beneficial to Planning Board members, Zoning Board of Appeal members, and Code Enforcement officers. The town board members and attorneys are encouraged to come as well. Code Enforcement officers will receive the in-service credit for attending this meeting. And this is from Glenn Cutter, Clinton County Planning Technician. We'll pass that on to Barb. And you gentlemen would like to go, you're free to go. The next thing you have on that agenda, gentlemen, is from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to municipal officers, state and federal agencies, and utility operators. This is telling us in order to further assist municipal officers, state and federal agencies, and utility operators in processing of disposing of trees, brush, waste from areas impacted by the severe ice storm of January the 7th through the 9th, the Region 5 Solid and Hazardous Material Unit of the Department of Environmental Conservation is providing information regarding disposal options, and it's giving you the options, and it's also giving you a list of the disposal sites. So we'll keep that on file. Of course, you have a copy of the warrant of the bills. Now go to committee reports. Building committee, Mr. Tran, Mr. DeMars, any reports?
Nothing on the building. Except for cleaning up some of the rooms.
Yeah.
Got that crew finally, got them organized, so we're in here last weekend to start cleaning. And we started at Sam's office. He's back in his office already. And now they, all the stuff out of the parts room, the boys in the back are going through that stuff, what's good, what isn't. And we're gonna paint that room up and shelve it. Put the stuff that's usable back in there and what isn't going out. When they get that done, then we're gonna go to the main part of the
Main building?
main building and start going through there.
How many weeks have we got them, Bart, they say?
As long as we can have work.
Oh, okay. Good. Anything on grants committee? Mr. Cookman, Mr. Wallet? Highway committee, Mr. Tran, Mr. Demers.
Highway, we got the, another crew that's doing some chipping there right now. I don't know how far we're gonna be able to get into that, because they're gonna start hitting in the snowbanks.
Oh, we're in the county with the bucket trucks.
While they're doing their, some of the county roads are working along with them.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the county, they did come in and help us with the bucket truck.
And we're helping them on their road part of it, chipping their part while they're using their bucket to do some of our roads. And they'll come back tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
You know, they have some repair work to do, so we take care of that.
While we're on that, I've had people ask me, is the town gonna have a place by spring for people to bring their brush and everything else? That they can bring it to one area, or the town can pick it up, or?
Well, we have a chipper, you know, what's the consensus of the board? Do we want to go out in the spring chipping up stuff if the people bring it out to the road, you know, on the private property?
I
I
would
think
think,
your village is doing that, ain't? They're gonna give you, they're gonna pick it up till June?
and they got a place also to pile it if you need to.
So we don't have a central point to bring this here yet. We've talked about it a little bit, Sam and I have. Where? We don't want it here,
No.
definitely.
I brought this up, I don't think we need to make a decision tonight because it's not gonna thaw out for another month or so.
No.
But I think it's something that we should think about, what we wanna do. And maybe have one place to bring it to, but also go around and chip it if they bring it to the side of the road. But you gotta be careful of that, cause some of them will pile it almost on the road, and that can cause a problem too. Right, Sam?
Oh, yeah.
Some of that brush is getting pretty close to on the road, on the Prospect Road.
I know it, that's what some of these places that are already piling it, they're getting into the road already. So,
We haven't got that far yet.
Well, they should not, they shouldn't put it on the right of way.
Well, that's why we
Yeah,
don't
leave
want
it-
it, we don't want anything in the right of way now because we're having problems here, get a snowstorm, that's still gonna be right away.
Yeah.
All you do is push it back further, and if the wind's blowing, it's gonna make drifts.
Mhm.
Some people call here, why don't they go bring it in the roadside, and so far we've said no. Not at this time. Now, if we wanna do it later, well, it's.
I think once your snow is gone, or if you don't have to plow, I think it wouldn't hurt to probably bring it, but I think this is something that we, the board and the highway committee's gotta think of, which way is the best way to do this.
If we can find a spot for people who wanna bring it there, well, that's all right.
Be a good spot if we could rent that or get that down on the, is the Ridge Road there, that flat rock?
Yeah.
Carl Monley's place.
Is that Carl that owns that, all that flat rock in there?
Yeah, right up by,
It'd be a nice spot, it's all nice and,
Yeah, it's right on a rock,
Yeah.
which makes it even that much better to work off
Also,
of.
we're gonna go through your permits for that.
We'd have to have
Chip it?
permission, you know, on that property.
To store it there. You'd have to get with the landowners.
Is what?
You'd have to get with your landowners to get the permits that you already discussed earlier.
Well, what are you talking about storing it there to chip it later?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
See, the village of Champlain is dumping, they put all theirs up on the hill up there,
In Racine's property.
which is, in an ideal situation. where
They're gonna do it both ways, they're gonna have that place up there, plus they're gonna, in the spring, you're gonna put it by the side of the road, they're gonna come around and pick it up. For the people that can't get it up there.
But if we wanna have, people bring by the road and go there and chip it, as long as we're still in the road, we're all right, but we're not gonna go on people's property to chip it.
I don't know.
No way,
No, you can't go on people's
more
property.
problems there.
That's why I wanted to bring it up tonight, for it to be thought about, for maybe next meeting, we come up with something to, figure out the best way to do this.
I don't
Sam
see
can
that.
talk to his boys and everything.
Who you got helping you, Sam, just your crew?
Now, we got a crew from the labor department, which is at no cost to us. No cost, no bookkeeping or nothing of it.
See, and then you gotta think about,
Four or
would you
five
have
men come every day
that
now.
crew in the spring to help to do this?
how long
We've
can
got
we
them
get
for a
that
minimum
done?
of 3 months, up to 6 months.
So, okay,
Yeah,
so
6
we
months.
may have, that's what I'm saying, that's
This
why
crew
I'm
will stay
saying.
with us as long as we need them for this.
That's why I'm
part.
not saying we make a decision tonight, I just wanted to bring it up so we could.
Well, why don't the highway committee come up with recommendations for the next meeting? Which, you know, should be just about around the time where you're gonna start going out there and picking it up. You're gonna have to get the snow off the ground first.
Oh, yeah,
So,
We're trying to get the most of it right now, to get that out of our way. If we can,
Do we own any land anywhere?
not that I know.
Sand pits.
highway. It's too bad that we couldn't get a couple of locations really in town.
But maybe
One
like you
after
say,
the other.
Red, maybe there is somebody would give permission. Because something must have been done up to Mr. Racine there. He must have gave the village permission
Yeah.
or some way and got it.
Maybe you could see Mr. Strack too, the golf course would be a nice spot. You're gonna have that right off, you're gonna chip that early. And they got a lot of chipping to be done right there. You know, they got a big parking lot, you could just put the brush right in there, you're not gonna leave it there.
Yeah, but I don't know if they wanna go that far, everybody going in their yard there either.
They probably even want the chips.
Well, you know, if there's anybody out there that wants the chips, please let the town know.
I could see Mr. Strack, I'll ask,
All right.
talk to Al about it.
The Village Ross Point will take all the hardwood chips. Of course, we're not gonna separate it, but I mean,
Well, you know, what you can deliver to Rouse's Point, deliver. What you can't, you know, we'll put some.
right now, we have no problem getting rid of it, we got a buyer for all of it, right?
I don't wanna hear it.
Chips, yeah.
Okay, well, the Highway Committee,
Replantation.
should come back with recommendations for next meeting on that.
We got up into our sand pit there, we got about a little over 1,000 yards of sand out of there 2 weeks ago. And I got 80 yards from the state out of Plattsburgh. So if we save a little bit, we might have enough.
I can get us through the next
Sprinkle
year.
lightly. We're lucky
Probably,
to be able to haul what we did that 2 weeks ago.
probably should get into the screener operation for next year. Probably should look into that
We're
too.
going to that right now,
Okay.
getting prices on that, buying and renting, both.
All right. Instead of waiting till right before we need it. Anything
We're
else?
Also going into the, looking into buying a broom, which we're gonna be needing here in April. And we got a couple of prices already. And once we get 3 prices, we can determine what we're gonna buy. This is a low-cost item, so we'll have to go out for bid.
Okay,
As long as we got 3 prices. We got 2 already, so.
should be in writing. Did you get them in writing?
We're
Or
gonna be in writing, yes.
We got one in writing already.
We've been through this before.
or you can go telephone or you can go in writing.
Everything's gonna be done in writing. That's all I got on that highway.
Water and Sewer Committee, Mr. Cookman, Mr. DeMars?
Did they start on that, the contractor start on that sewer line up there yet?
We did it through the emergency breakage. When it froze up, we started it.
Contractors came in and did it then?
Yes, I think we've got in about $8,500 to $9,000 overtime on that. We're submitting that through FEMA. Had to be fixed, had to get the thing working. Had pumping time on there. And FEMA, I believe, is coming up the end of the week. So we'll straighten out a bunch of the stuff with them.
FEMA that's coming up there now, the billing is gonna be just the 17th of January, correct?
Yes,
Anything after the 17th, that'll be the second
it'll be
billing.
the second part.
Because I have a lot for the second billing, not too much for the first billing.
Well, your sand and everything will be on the 17th.
Second billing.
There'll be the second building?
Anything that was done after the 17th, you can't
No,
bill.
that was after the 17th?
Sand was on the 19th.
Okay. Yeah, that's only up to the 17th.
So Sam's gonna have most of that building for that part of it. Well, you have,
Yeah.
and the trucks and everything will be after the 17th. Then we'll start the second one after.
Also, we have a leak on the Ridge Road. You know, the approximately 1,500 gallons a day, and it's pretty hard to find. So,
To get back on highway, that finally got the acknowledgement on that pickup,
you did?
right? And it's gonna be in production March 19th, delivering the first week of April.
Not bad.
Next time we want something, we should order it, not wait at the production line.
Well, that's the trouble with going through state purchase. You never know when you're gonna get it. Probably quicker to go out for bid.
We have no idea where that leak is right now, you're saying? Up on the Ridge Road?
No. Got suspects, but, nothing is, it's all froze out there and you can't see a thing and you can't hear anything. It's very, huh? Got the one on the landfill, but we didn't get the one on the ridge. No.
Where is it, Ray, Charlie?
From Route 11 up to the telephone company, pumping station there, that's the ridge road. Then from there on past is the landfill area. So we found the leak on the landfill side, but we didn't find the leak on the ridge. That's approximately 1,500 gallons a day losing.
Keep me posted on that, Timmy, will you?
Landfill update, Mr. Drahan?
Nothing at this time?
Anything else to be brought up before the town board, by the town board members?
The only thing I'd like to bring up, and I'd like a letter of appreciation to be sent to both fire departments for the, I don't know, 'cause I'm not a person that puts things into words, the extra work and the thing that they did during the ice storm. I think they went beyond the call of duty, the time that they put in and everything else. And I think the town should send a letter of appreciation to both fire departments for the fine work that they did during this time. Because they helped villages, town, even outside of town, they helped everybody.
Most certainly, yes. Anybody have any objections against that?
Nope.
Okay, you gonna draft a letter? You want-
Whatever.
I think we're,
Because one night, they came down, we were working on the creek road, and they came down, and they started on the town line road. They went down through and cut down, and when we went down through and cut back, they made it passable for us.
Oh, they did a wonderful job, there's no denying that.
And it's not much that we can do. I feel, just a letter would show that we know that what they did and we appreciate it.
Okay. Anybody else? Town clerk's report?
I handed out a copy of this to everybody but you. This is my annual report that I didn't have ready for last January because of the other problem. The money I took in and how I dispersed it during the year compared with 1996. I was very close except for the building permits, which had a large increase.
Building permits?
How come they went up so?
You went 100? Oh, you had a building in there, a large building, that's
A
why.
large building,
Oh. I think from 2,000 to 10,000, quite an increase.
yeah.
Well, you see that you did 100 for $2,000, and you did 100 the next year, and you made $10,000.
Yeah.
That's when we changed the rates on it.
We changed the rates on the building permits to they go by square footage now.
When you get big buildings, it helps your cost, but when it's all residential, you lose money. Abandoned cars, 1996, $568, 97, $641. And we still have an abandoned car out there?
These are cars that the sheriff and the state police leave here,
Yeah,
and we store and we sell them. So
we
then
still got one more out there.
I don't know. I don't have it.
Some of it's still out there.
Huh?
That thing is still out there.
Yeah. There's still a car out there.
Did you get
Come
any
spring,
value?
We'll find it.
That must be ours.
Sam?
It's
Are
white.
you getting value?
No.
Sam's got a new car.
No, the owner is not gonna come back for it. We have to sell it by auction.
well, this one I think we're gonna sell for junk. Okay, anything else, Ralph?
No,
Superintendent of Highway, Sam Castine.
Well, Jules talked about a few of the things I was to report on about the men and stuff, but The John Deere loader, as you probably all know, is down. I might have some good news today. The guy, the mechanic that was working on the chipper, said that he didn't think it was a transmission. He thought it probably a shaft. He'll let me know tomorrow for sure. But got to go with the transmission. That's $11,000. Wasn't expected. Number 2 truck. We had to put a lot of money in to make a fast inspection. We had to put bag springs in, helper springs, kingpins, drag link, brake shoes, drums, air leak, bracket for the back springs, front tires are bald. Got to bring it in to have it lined up. It's all back together now. I just got to get her lined up. She passed inspection this time. So we put probably $3,000-4,000 into that one. I didn't dare to look too far at the equipment, but the grate all, I think just about every hole's on it leaks. That's going to have to be repaired. Bulldozer needs some work done on it. The grader, the wiring is all burnt in it. We're going to have to do a new wiring harness for that. After you run it a few days, you got to boost it to start it. It's not charged. That's about all the good news I got.
Unfortunately, Sam has left with all this stuff because he got it in poor shape. So I've been talking with him and said, well, let's go one at a time and we'll bring up to par.
I'd like to see
Because
the
if we don't
grade
bring
all
this up
fixed.
to where it belongs, we're gonna have other problems. Like that truck deal is money well spent because one accident would have been cost us more than that. Insurance wise and so on and so forth. So,
Especially with the brakes.
I don't know how they got inspected before, but now they're getting inspected where everything's gonna be in tip-top shape with them. And, so that means that one of the 3 trucks is in real good shape right now, the 2 new ones are that one. And we'll start looking at the other ones a little bit later.
Pull the wheels off, check the brakes, and et cetera.
Because when
I think one
you start
problem
checking
is-
something, it goes in further than what we expected.
On the brakes there, they're using a thick grease, and the slack adjusters, that plugs up the little holes in there. So if I get some lithium grease, it's thinner, it doesn't harden up, it should help those slack adjusters to work a little better. Because when it was pulling to one side, the holes were completely plugged in there.
So it wouldn't allow the adjuster to adjust the brake.
Right.
Get it.
I'm going to get some grease, and we'll just use it for the slack adjusters, you know, just put it in a handgun.
Well,
So
looks
if you don't
better
get-
out there already,
If you
so.
don't get any more big storms, you'll probably get ahead of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you've been doing for the last 2 weeks. You were used to that first 2 weeks. Attorney Van Acker,
No report.
no reports. Do you have a copy, gentlemen, of the bills? Did you get your explanation on your calculator? Okay, satisfied?
File a clipboard. We'll go off the purchase.
Oh, clipboards? Oh. Any discussion on the bills, gentlemen?
Have a couple to read. Didn't have enough. And have a couple more.
Sheesh. Boy, it's been a hard month on bills.
This is Champlain Peterbilt, heavy duty truck inspection, $20. And Ralph Gilpin for mailing back conservation licenses to DEC, $4.55.
More?
That's it. Oh, that's
The thickest you ever had?
fine. Read all of them if you like.
No, any other discussions on the bills, gentlemen? Have a motion that be paid?
Motion to be paid.
A second motion? Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. There again, we open back up to the public. Any in the meeting, anybody care to discuss something with the board this time? Yes, Joseph?
Arnie, when I was sitting here, question that I thought about that's been bothering me for the last few years. In the springtime when we have the melt, you ever go down Mason Road, especially near my place, there's a lot of cornfields that overrun the ditches because there's still snow, ice in them. In the past, or I don't know if it's been the town or the county, but going through the grader and opening up those ditches. Is that gonna be a past practice? I mean, is that?
That's county there,
I
George.
realize you guys are still out straight. But I was wondering if there was any thought of doing it this year.
That's county road.
We'll call Al and ask him, but pretty sure he will. Pretty good guy. Any other questions?
I just have a comment based on what Leroy requested, that you thank the fire department. I don't know if you're aware that the Chamber of Commerce, Northern Tier Chamber, is honoring all the volunteer fire departments, the people who man the shelters, at the VFW on Saturday the 21st. Instead of having a king and queen ball this year, they're going to honor volunteers, ham radio operators, anybody who's involved.
When is that?
Whatever the Saturday is, that's the 21st. I think it's the 21st.
21st of
You'll hear
February?
more about it, it'll be in the papers, the program.
Yeah, I think we ought to throw a great big party this summer. Invite everybody that came up here and helped, and firefighters, and, you know, it's amazing the amount of people that gave you help. Probably have to get a herd of cows and roast them for the picnic. But, really a lot of people. It just goes to show you that, you know, people out there aren't bad. A lot of concerned people. It'll give you help.
A lot of people took coffee and sandwiches and donuts around to these workers too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them.
yeah.
And neighbors help neighbors. That you wouldn't think. You got neighbors out there, you never thought that walk out the door and help anybody, and they were helping everybody.
Well, I think it affected everybody.
Yeah.
That's why everybody helped each other. And it was good to see the camaraderie that was around here. It wasn't good to see the ice storm, but
But how the people helped each other and got together, and
yeah.
it brought the goodness out in everybody.
Showed you can do it. Any other business to be brought before the board? Have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We even had cancer. Anybody have lights up there?